importantly, we've got two awesome schools here today. As you know, K-Kids is a service club that our club sponsors in elementary schools. We've got a dozen K-Kid clubs in elementary school. The idea is to get kids in fifth grade, fourth grade, et cetera, excited about community service. They get to realize that you get back way more than you give, and it becomes a lifelong passion like it is for all of you. So thank you for your willingness to support the K-Kids. We're going to hear from Willis first. So if Colin and Gianna would make their way up here. While they are making their way up here, I want to thank for a minute the sponsors, Ms. Morales, Ms. Bradel, and Ms. Cuervo. They don't get paid an extra dime. They're wonderful role models, wonderful teachers. Let's hear it for the advisors. All right, so introducing the K-Kids from Willis Elementary, we've got Colin and Gianna.
Good morning. My name is Colin.
And my name is Gianna, and we represent the K-Kids at Willis Elementary School.
This year, we adopted a local animal shelter and donated food, blankets, pillows, and toys.
We also facilitated a canned food drive to feed the homeless by creating posters and advertising outside every day during arrival and dismissal.
It's traditional around the holidays for Willis K-Kids to collect teddy bears and donate them to children in hospitals. We had Tampa Bay Rough Riders pick up the teddy bears and give us the history of how teddy bears got their name from Teddy Roosevelt.
Last month, we took a field trip to Smart with Heart. Smart with Heart is a horse therapy farm supporting children with mental, physical, and emotional disabilities. We donated paper towels, hand soap, and garbage bags to keep the barns clean and help them by brushing and feeding the horses.
Next month, we are getting together on a Saturday morning to pick weeds, plant flowers, and lay down mulch at our school.
Thank you, Kiwanis members, for supporting K-Kids at Willis Elementary for the past 10 years. We love what we do and couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was awesome. I love hearing about all the good work that's going on in the community by these fifth and fourth graders. So from McNeil Elementary, we've got Alicia, Hannah, Stella, and Kalia, if you'd come forward. And while they're coming forward, I'd like to pay tribute to Ms. Fox and Ms. Hughes. They are the advisors out at McNeil, and they're wonderful role models. They're great. As I said, they don't get paid an extra dime, and sometimes, as you can imagine, it can be a little challenging. So let's hear it for Ms. Fox and Ms. Hughes.
Hi, I am Alicia Ranasinghe from McNeil Elementary. I am the president of our K-Kids Club. I am so proud to be a part of K-Kids. We have 30 members and meet every other Tuesday morning. Our members are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We are committed to working together in service to school and community. We would like to thank all of the members of Kiwanis for supporting us and inviting us here today. We would especially like to thank Judge Nicholas for supporting our project and coming out to our school to swear us in. We also would like to thank Lori Fox, who comes to our meetings and encourages us. She shows us that she really cares about us. We are so excited to be here. We have had an amazing year filled with valuable lessons and unforgettable experiences. Each month, we planned and participated in projects in which we helped our community and our school. We would like to tell you about some of those projects.
Hi, I'm Hannah Marco. My favorite part about K-Kids is that we get to do projects that help people in our school and community, make them smile. We have found that it makes us feel as good as the people we help. We started the year by showing appreciation to our fine arts teachers. We put together bags filled with treats and items they could use in their classrooms, and made cards for them too. One fine art teacher said that it brought tears to her eyes, that we recognized her hard work and thought to thank her. Then we participated in Mayor's Feed the Hungry campaign, in which we were so excited to collect $800 in coins to help assure that no adult or child went hungry during the holidays. This was our third year to participate in these great causes. In November, we made cards and bookmarks to honor veterans. We had a celebration at our school that included a special parade where all of our students held up signs. We even had Lakewood Ranch Band play songs. We also made cards for the Honor Flight, which is a national organization that transports American veterans to Washington, D.C. to honor and celebrate them for their services and sacrifices for our freedom. They distributed our cards to the veterans on the flight.
Hi, my name is Stella Nicestro. One of the highlights of this year was spending time at a local nursing home. We dressed in our holiday best and sang holiday carols to the residents. They excitedly joined us when we asked them to sing along with the popular holiday carols. We also built gingerbread houses with them. They especially loved the candy we used to decorate the houses. The residents were so happy that they got to take the gingerbread houses back to their rooms with them to enjoy. We love to bring joy to them for the holidays. I think it made us as happy as it made them. It was so fun. They kept asking us when we could come back. We also put together care packages and made cards for a local fire department that served our area. They were so appreciative. We wanted to show our support and appreciation for the dedication to keep us safe. For the next 2 weeks, we have a Lucky Dog donation drive going on to collect items for Manatee County Humane Society. Our goal was to help by getting donations of items necessary to help the shelter animals receive the best care during their stay there. Our slogan was, "Thank you for helping us save lives 4 paws at a time." We also paired up with the garden club at our school to get the garden ready to grow some fruits and vegetables and made cards.
Hi, I'm Kalia McManus. Through K-Kids, I have learned so much about myself. I have learned that when you see a need, you need to help. We can all make a difference. We will also be working with the kindergarten and first grade students at our school. We decided that we could be mentors for them. For the last quarter of the year, we will start a program where we read with them as we help them practice addition and subtraction facts before school. Our last project of the year is the Casey Cares Pajama Drive. We will be collecting new PJs that will be distributed to kids that are in the hospital for an extended amount of time and to critically ill children in their home. At the end of our PJ drive, we will have a big PJ party at our school. This is so special to us because it will bring a smile to a child's face. We could not have done all these projects to make a difference in our school and community without your support. Thank you to all of the Bradenton Kiwanis.
Next week, I'm going to mention it now, we're going to be meeting at the Marriott Palmetto. Okay, so we're doing, I know when I came in as president, as president this year, I like to have a few off-site, some people had mentioned, let's do some off-site visits, some off-site meetings. So we'll try not to get too far away, but the Marriott Palmetto and everything that it's attached to over there is really important for our economy and the tourism and everything else, of which Elliot Falcione is here, and he's in charge of our tourism group, here in Manatee County. Elliot can do a lot better of introducing our speaker today, even though Mr. Fitzgerald, I've been doing some research lately, and like I said, they all know you up there in Pittsburgh, but they don't know you too much down here. But anyway, Elliot, if you would please take the podium today and introduce our guest speaker. And welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm only going to take about 50 minutes, and then, Rich, you're about an hour and a half. Hang in there, kids. Mike knows I'm not that smart because he said, we're going to see you next week, and I said, okay, and I forgot that we were over there because you always associate the Kiwanis in this beautiful theater. But it's such a pleasure to say hello to everybody. Really looking forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday. I'll give you one little tidbit. Remember, in 1982-83, the Kiwanis stepped up with $500,000 of seed money to build the Manatee Civic Center that opened in January '85. That is now becoming the Bradenton Area Convention Center. August 1st, that'll be the biggest convention center from St. Petersburg to Naples. So that's exciting news, and we'll tell you a little bit more. But why we're here today is in 2012, with the recommendation of the late David Teitelbaum on our Tourist Development Council, and the synergy of the Pittsburgh Pirates is, why don't you form a sister city relationship between Pittsburgh and Bradenton? And when I looked it up, guess what? There were no two domestic cities in the United States that had a sister city relationship. It was always a U.S. city and then an international. Bradenton has a city in Spain. So it was like, wow, let's do something that no one's ever done before. Luke Ravenstall, the youngest mayor in the United States at that point, did the proclamation with our county commission up at the Pirate game. And there's one guy that really was the glue to really grow the sister city relationship, and of course that's Rich Fitzgerald. Let me just give you a few tidbits on the value of a sister city relationship, because usually you don't have two domestics because there's territory there, right? Investment exchange and all that, but it's sharing information. It's looking at prototypes, but doing something different from that prototype that's never been done before. Like, we like to be a first. Let's lead, not follow, is really the motto. The Bradenton Area Regatta, that was the first event that we captured, knowing that Pittsburgh did it with a lot of success for years and years and years, that now brings about 100,000 people in one day to this urban core that's vital to our redevelopment. Partnership with Visit Pittsburgh, my counterparts up in Pittsburgh, where we did a two-city holiday flying from London to Pittsburgh, 3 nights, 4 days in the Steel City on British Airways, and then fly nonstop to the Sarasota Bradenton Airport and enjoy the second week on Anna Maria Island. That was working until that thing called COVID hit. Andy Warhol, we got a really good partnership with Donald Warhola, where he brought his pop-up down here as well. Rich Angler, concert producer, promoter, over 6,000 concerts in his lifetime. We just experienced the Moody Blues concert out on Anna Maria Island. Bob Bazzelli, you heard him, he's here. Smokey Robinson's business manager in our backyard. Guess what? Smokey will be in Bradenton at some point moving forward. That's a call to action, Mr. Bazzelli. KDK Radio, Larry Richard just got on a plane to fly out. He's our brand ambassador. With that, 45,000 Pittsburghers visit the Bradenton area a year. They convert into real estate owners as well. So yes, you do have a lot of what we call yinzers in this town. Okay, Rich is the glue. A little background: he was the Allegheny County Council from 2000 to 2011. In our world, that's a county commissioner. County executive from 2012 to 2024. That's the equivalent of our county administrator, but that is an elected position where obviously Charlie Bishop is hired and appointed by the board. He is currently the executive director of the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission. The intrigue there is Rich is going to tell you about. He serves 10 counties around the city of Pittsburgh, including Pittsburgh. Very, very unique. He graduated from the prestigious Carnegie Mellon University with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Guess who else went there? Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley. It is the prestigious Carnegie Mellon. That is the one institution that has rebuilt the great city of Pittsburgh. Final tidbit, and then we'll bring Rich up. He did graduate from Central Catholic. So did Bob Bazzelli. And Rich played on the football team. and there was Rich Fitzgerald at wing, a guy by the name of Dan Marino, and then there was everybody else. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Rich Fitzgerald.
Yeah, well, we'll leave that one go, but Mr. Marino certainly did a few things for the folks of South Florida. Thank you for everybody for being here. I want to thank Elliot for, number one, that kind introduction, but also really connecting me and my administration and Pittsburghers in general to South Florida, to Bradenton, to the Bradenton, Sarasota area. Now, one thing I will say, for those of you that aren't familiar with Pittsburgh, I am guessing you're familiar with our football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to tell a little story about the Steelers. If you watch the Steelers on TV, on a national game in which they are on the road, the Steelers are either in LA or Denver or Houston or Dallas or wherever, it always seems like half of the fans, or maybe more than half of the fans, are Steeler fans. It seems like a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, no matter where they are. And the announcers always get that wrong. They always say, don't those Steeler fans like to travel and get on a bus, get on a plane, get in their car, and go to these cities? The answer I'm here to tell you is no. What happens is those people who are rooting for the Steelers moved to LA 30 years ago and 40 years ago. Because Pittsburgh, which built, and when I say Pittsburgh, I'm going to use the word Pittsburgh in a regional sense. As Elliot says, 10 counties, about 2.5 million people, metro area, made steel up and down all three of those rivers. We had a ballpark called Three River Stadium before we became Heinz Field and then Acrisure Stadium. But those Pittsburghers lost their jobs because Pittsburgh for a century built many of the buildings and rail lines and armaments that this country used in World War I, World War II, the Industrial Revolution, the car industry in Detroit, et cetera, et cetera. And then in the 1980s, it all collapsed. Almost overnight, in a 4-year cycle, we lost 200,000 people who left Pittsburgh. They didn't leave because they didn't like it. They left because the jobs went away. So for a century, we exported steel, and now for the last couple of decades, we were exporting our young people. People like Elliot, who grew up in Pittsburgh and went to other places because the opportunities were better. So we were in such a quandary that in the late 1990s, we decided as a community to throw out our form of government, which was 3 elected county commissioners, and create a uber powerful position called the county executive position. Now, I was in business at the time. I was in the engineering business. Last thing I wanted to do was get involved in politics. So watch out, kids. Some of you can speak pretty well. I can see a couple of elected people. Mayor Brown better watch what's going on there. But my point is, we formed this new form of government, a part-time council and a full-time, very powerful county executive who could make deals, who could bring business and bring things together in the community. Because one of the things we had was a lot of infighting over who was to blame in losing the steel industry, in losing the coal industry, and industries that have, quite frankly, gone away since that time. And we formed a new form of government, and crazy old me, I decided I'm going to run for one of those part-time county council positions. 2 days a week, we meet at night, probably like school boards do in many instances around the country, and decided it started to work. We actually elected in a Democratic county, a very, very Democratic county, a Republican as our first county executive, a guy named Jim Roddy. Jim had never served in government. He was a businessman. He served on a lot of philanthropic boards around the country. Did a great job, got the government up and running in 2000 when we started it. Then we had another guy come in, a guy by the name of Dan Honorado, served 2 terms. We started to rejuvenate what Pittsburgh was becoming because we had lost steel, but as Elliot said, we had some really great assets that started to revitalize Pittsburgh. One of them is my alma mater, Carnegie Mellon University, the leading robotics university in the country, and AI, artificial intelligence, #1 in the world in artificial intelligence. So we started spinning out companies that made robotics. If you came into Pittsburgh right now, you would see driverless cars driving all over the city, testing themselves as the R&D is going on for companies that are developing driverless vehicles, trucks and cars that are going to be the next generation of transportation. And then in 2007, we discovered something that really changed everything. We discovered natural gas, Marcellus Shale, underneath our feet. In southwestern Pennsylvania, we have the largest find of natural gas in southwestern Pennsylvania. So now with robotics, we do an awful lot with our University of Pittsburgh in life sciences and medical technologies, developing transplantation operations, et cetera. So Pittsburgh as a region is transformed from heavy manufacturing, kind of old style industrial manufacturing, into the next generation of robotics, artificial intelligence, life sciences, and energy. And that's where we are right now. So for 12 years, serving as county executive, starting to lead this type of thing, we did something that you probably don't think is that big of a deal, and it's called growing population. Pittsburgh in Allegheny County every decade, starting in the 1950s, was losing population. Every decade we would lose population. We'd lose a congressional seat in southwestern Pennsylvania. I think you guys all picked them up for us because you always kind of get one every 10 years. But in Pennsylvania, we were losing population. Well, in 2020, 2022, when the census came out, for the very first time, we were growing population again. And we were growing it with young people who were working at Google, young people who were working at Facebook, working at Apple. All these major industrial companies, these major technological companies were moving to Pittsburgh to do the things that they wanted to do. I talked about that population. Allegheny County used to have 1.6 million people. We dropped down to about 1.2 at one point. City of Pittsburgh had 600,000 people. We dropped down to 300,000 people. It is now, again, turning around as to where we're going and what we're doing on all those type of things. I talked about AI and artificial intelligence. That is the next generation, and I know it's scary to a lot of us, including someone in my generation, but we know it's coming. We know it's going to be the part of where the world is going to go. Well, what does artificial intelligence need? It needs electrical energy like anything we have never seen before. And that means we got to find a way to produce all of that electrical energy. Well, nothing like southwestern Pennsylvania with natural gas, because it's probably, along with nuclear, the two types of energy, the two sources of energy that can produce the huge amount of megawatts that are going to be needed for artificial intelligence, for all those computations that have to happen in the things that are happening. So we, in Pittsburgh and in Allegheny County and in southwestern Pennsylvania, are very uniquely qualified because we can drill outside of the urban area, outside of the densely populated areas, but that's where our research and development and universities, Carnegie Mellon, University of Pittsburgh, and those things happen. So the partnership of people coming together is something that we have really embraced in southwestern Pennsylvania. We don't really put on our jerseys of red and blue, D&R. We know they're going to have that fight in Washington, and we certainly have it in Harrisburg, in our state capital, and I'm sure it happens in Florida, in Tallahassee. But when it comes to jobs, when it comes to fighting for economic development, we're all on the same page. We don't wear those jerseys that you see again in Washington and some of the fights that go on, regardless of who's in the White House, regardless of who's in the Speaker's office, and those type of things. We come together to make sure that we work in tandem in a good way. So again, I represented Allegheny County, which is the only Democratic county in southwestern Pennsylvania. The other 9 counties are majority led by Republicans. And again, we all work together because it happens in a good way. I could go on and on, but the one thing I will say is that you can thank me or not thank me so much for is airport and air service. I wanted to make sure one of the things that comes under county government in Pittsburgh is the airport authority. And one thing I wanted to make sure is we wanted to get a direct flight from Pittsburgh to Sarasota International. And now we have 2 airlines that do it, Southwest and Allegiant. So that sister city relationship in which so many Pittsburghers find so important not just because of the Pirates and the McKechnie Field and then Lecon Park over the last number of decades that so many Pittsburgh made a connection to, but really it is the commonality of what we do around Visit Pittsburgh and the Convention and Visitor Bureaus here. The fact that we're going to Europe with flights from British Airways, and we're all working together in a great way. Tourism being so important to all of us. We're going to be hosting the National Football League Draft in Pittsburgh next year. That's an organization, or that's an activity that in Detroit last year drew about 500,000 people. I think they're expecting similar in Green Bay next month when that goes on. So we certainly want to welcome you to come to Pittsburgh to next April when the Steelers, hopefully draft a little higher than we might right now, but we won't get into that. Hey, thank you for having me today. Appreciate it. We will be back. Let's strengthen that sister city relationship. Keep doing things together. Thank you.
Rich, thank you. Stay here. You got to stay here for a minute. With the, I figured since we've all got orange jackets, we're not here to escort you off, quite yet. But,
you notice we're sitting at the gold table, the black and gold.
Yeah, I did see that. We purposely did that. But stay up here.
Thank you.
We've got a presentation for you with we've got 3 presidents, all right, with Andy Minor as the past president, myself as the current president, and Dr. Jonathan Mullis as the future president. With Pittsburgh, talking about Pittsburgh and our sister community up there, we'd like to present you with a golden ruler. Come on over here.
Okay.
Got to get in the middle of the orange jackets over here.
Yes, sir. Mr. President?
To measure the future success of the 10 counties that you're responsible for up there right now.
I got to make sure Rich knows his wife was here.
There we go. All right.
Don't be strangers. Come on up to Pittsburgh.
Thank you
We'll be
very
glad
much.
to have you. Thank
We
you.
are going to be up there, as a matter of fact, because we've got the Kiwanis International Convention is at the end of June and the beginning of July. So that's where we're having it up there. So we're throwing some money back into Pittsburgh. But one more time for Rich Fitzgerald. It's a great program. We're really happy to hear about what you've got going on. The sign-up sheets are on the table right now. If you'd please see those. Next week, we are going to be off-site. We are going to be, as Elliot had mentioned before, we're going to be over at the new Palmetto Marriott. So please sign up on those sheets so we can get an idea. It's going to be a great lunch over there. They're doing a fantastic job. So we've even got it. Elliot's kind of stepped up with his group, and they've helped us out with it. But it's going to be a great lunch over there. So show up same time, but different place, all right? So we will be getting together right at noon next Tuesday. Please use the sign-up sheets and just leave them on the tables right there. And I think that's all we have. Again, welcome to all our K kids that are here from McNeil and Willis and their teachers. And thank you all for being here today.